Live from NBC 30, Connecticut's live, local, late-breaking news leader. This is NBC 30, Connecticut News at 11.
The plows are back in business tonight, cleaning up the latest snowstorm to move across Connecticut. Hi, everybody. The snow started about 5 o'clock, and 2 to 3 inches have already piled up in southwestern portions of the state.
The snow is causing some problems on the roads tonight. Our live team coverage includes Stephanie Cruz in New Haven, and we begin with Doug Green in Southington. Doug.
Thank you, Jerry. Overlooking both directions of I-84 in Southington, the highway is wide open right now. But state police report numerous spinouts and minor crashes in many places, usually because drivers didn't realize conditions were so icy. Still, this winter, by now, most drivers know what to do.
Just drive slow, and that's all you can do.
All you can do when this is your view of I-84 in Southington. Open most of the time, except after spinouts.
What happened, I was doing about 30 to 35, and basically the roads were very icy. Cars, when you hit the snow in the middle, where it builds up, pulling all over the place, sliding.
Snow covering on-ramps and off-ramps makes traveling tricky, too. Plows are out on the streets as the snow falls. The plowmen aren't the only ones trying to clear things up.
It's good to clean your car so you could see better and drive better, so you won't get in an accident.
What do you think of this?
I love it. It's beautiful.
It was great. I just got back from the Keys 2 days ago, so now it's a quick adjustment back to cold and snow again.
Too bad.
Yeah, I'll say.
Seriously, part of his adjustment was driving on ice tonight. Now, let's go live to Stephanie Cruz in New Haven. Stephanie?
Good evening, Doug. Snow is coming down out here, as I showed you earlier, and it's coming sideways, as you can see here, so I'm going to turn my head. Even so, though the snow has been coming down, state police say there have been no major problems on the roadways. In fact, the snow has just been slowing people down, rather. Take a look behind me. I-95, you can see the traffic is moving there. Not too many people out tonight, but the snow slowing people down. The snowfall started earlier this evening here along the shoreline in Hamden. The snow blanketed the streets, but state police tell us along the shoreline there have been more accidents. Most of those accidents have been minor. In New Haven, police there telling us the same story, that there are more accidents, but most there are fender benders. Still, police say the roadways are very slick out there, so if you plan on heading out in the shoreline, take it slow because they are very dangerous. Now, the DOT has been out here as long as we've been here in 95. We've seen them out here about 3 or 4 times in the last half hour, as well as the city streets as well. So the DOT is trying to keep the roadways clear. Nonetheless, state police say the interstates as well as the city roadways are going to be very dangerous. So if you are heading out tonight, take caution. Live in New Haven, Stephanie Cruz, NBC 30, Connecticut News. Joanne?
All right, Stephanie, thank you. Take a look at the damage the storm did in Virginia today. State police expect to be clearing away wreckage all night on I-95 there, where more than 100 cars were involved in a chain reaction crash. 1 person was killed, more than 100 injured. It started this morning, drivers apparently going too fast in those icy conditions. A lot of people left their cars and ran into the woods, fearing they'd be killed if they stayed in their vehicles. I-95 southbound in that part of Virginia is still closed tonight. Let's see how much more this storm has left in it. Brad's here with Pinpoint 30 weather. Brad.
Well, Joanne, we've got another few hours to go. I think this storm will be tapering off and ending in western Connecticut around 2 in the morning and in eastern sections around 4 in the morning. Still a few snow showers left over for your morning commute. Let's go to winter weather radar, and I'll show you that the back edge of the snow is now coming through eastern Pennsylvania and southern sections of New Jersey, and that back edge is moving toward Connecticut. So that's how I figured out what time I think the snow will taper off and end. The storm system is off the North Carolina coast and continuing out into the ocean. Closest to the storm is southern sections of Connecticut. That's where I think the heaviest snow will be. 2 to 4 inches generally statewide, with favoring the 2 toward the Massachusetts border, favoring the 4 right along the Connecticut shoreline. Joanne and Jerry, I'll have the complete forecast for Friday and the weekend coming up.
Okay, we'll see you then, Brad. Thank you. Other news tonight, a Plainville minister offered comfort to hundreds of racing fans tonight, mourning the death of Dale Earnhardt. Pastor Will Baumgartner of Grace Lutheran Church told the 400 people who gathered for a memorial service, now it's time for our hero to rest. The mourners also found comfort in being together.
You feel alone.
keep watching it on television, and everything's given for the fans down south, and you're alone up here. And then
But
you
not
see
anymore.
So many other people. It helps so much.
There was some comfort in it. It was nice to know that, you know, that the community could come together and share it.
The idea for this memorial began when some church members asked if they could do something to remember Dale Earnhardt. It came on the same day the Earnhardt family held its memorial service at a church in Charlotte, North Carolina.
An unusual story out of Yukon tonight. A Willimantic man is accused of breaking into a barn and sexually abusing a bull. 54-year-old John Baruch faces a variety of charges, including sexual assault and cruelty to animals. Police say he used a 7-inch piece of plastic pipe. Baruch is free tonight after posting bond. Hillary Clinton playing defense today, saying she knew nothing about who got pardons from her husband and had no idea her brother was involved. The senator says she was heartbroken when she found out Hugh Rodham was paid $400,000 to lobby for 2 men who ended up getting a pardon and a commutation.
He was a frequent guest at the White House. You know, he's my brother. I love my brother. I'm just extremely disappointed in this terrible misjudgment that he made.
At his first news conference, President Bush today wouldn't be dragged into the controversy, but he did say Congress has a right to investigate the pardons.
The president made the decisions he made, and he can answer the questions raised. This White House is moving forward. We've got a lot to do.
And there might be a lot to investigate. It turns out Senator Clinton's campaign treasurer was also paid to help get 2 last-minute pardons. And the president's brother, Roger, personally asked the president to pardon a number of people, but the president said no. The Hamden School Board has some tough and expensive decisions to make about the middle school. There are 4 proposals to remedy the situation at the contaminated school that will cost millions of dollars. Tonight, the school board's building committee reviewed the proposals. They include building 2 middle schools, adding portable classrooms to the existing middle school, renovating the existing middle school, or building a new high school. PTA President Gladys DeLucia feels kids should have a new middle school.
And maybe Mr. Proto can talk.
The majority of the people in this town have been heard. I do feel that our views are being brought forward and that people are taking very seriously that this town needs and will get a new middle school.
The Board of Education will take a final vote on March 20th.
Have they come to your door? Bands of young people going door to door selling magazine subscriptions?
Sometimes you receive the goods, sometimes you don't. And sometimes people selling the subscriptions may not actually be who they say they are.
Grant Stinchfield is here tonight with his 30 Investigates report. Who's at the door? Grant.
Joanne, Jerry, 30 Investigates received a call from a viewer who claimed a young door-to-door magazine salesman scammed her out of $50. So we started digging and found out the company the young man claimed to work for has a very checkered past.
I had a young gentleman come to my home saying that he was from Killingly High School.
He wrote the name John Harris on this receipt, but a quick phone call to Killingly High revealed John Harris is not and never was a student there. But that's not what he led Lynn Freeman to believe.
He was having a fundraiser, selling magazines, and part of the sale would go towards his tuition for college.
It was a bold-faced lie, say consumer advocates, common among fraudulent door-to-door solicitors.
He seemed pretty sincere, so I purchased 2 magazines.
Big mistake. Plus, she wrote the check to cash. That was months ago and still no sign of her magazines.
Seemed to be excited about his career choices and his future.
Think he was experienced at this?
Yeah.
30 Investigates quickly realized Lynn Freeman may have been lucky. This is 18-year-old James Maxon. He worked for Palmetto Marketing, the same company John Harris said he worked for. Prosecutors in Fulton, New York, charged Maxon for the murder of a woman who lived in this home. Investigators believe he was there selling magazines. That's not the only trouble surrounding Palmetto employees. Another worker was found shot to death in this Norfolk, Virginia motel. Police tell us he was running a Palmetto crew traveling up and down the East Coast. The murder, say police, was drug-related. Palmetto Marketing tells us, though the events are tragic, the company cannot be held responsible for them because all the agents are independent contractors. In Wisconsin, this accident involving a different company, say industry watchdogs, typifies the dangers of door-to-door magazine peddling. The driver of this van tried to switch seats with another sales agent at 81 miles per hour after spotting a highway patrol officer.
Anything you can tell us about what happened that night, sir?
21-year-old Jeremy Holmes then lost control of the van. The result, 7 young sales agents are dead, 7 more seriously injured.
Like a thief, you helped steal our son's future, his life, dreams, and goals. Who gave you the right?
The young people were all working for Subscriptions Plus. The victims' families say while their kids were on the road, 14-hour workdays were the norm, food was scarce, and the money thin. One by one, family members took the stand to speak to the man prosecutors say was ultimately responsible for the crash. Subscriptions Plus crew chief Choen Lane.
I hope it haunts you for the rest of your life. At least you have one.
A jury convicted Lane of the charges leveled against him. And back in Connecticut, Attorney General Richard Blumenthal is concerned about Palmetto Marketing showing up here.
Does that history trouble you that they may now be coming through Connecticut?
I'm troubled whenever any company with a troubled history comes through the state, and we're going to be watching for complaints.
Blumenthal warns always be wary of anyone selling anything door to door. A lesson Lynn Freeman learned the hard way.
You hear all the time that there are scams like this going around, and you just don't think that it's going to happen to you.
Palmetto Marketing would only say that it is looking into Lynn Freeman's complaint. As for the thousands of sales agents on the road peddling magazines, since 1992, it appears 42 have either died or suffered serious injuries in auto crashes nationwide. Joanne?
Thank you, Grant. Well, the results are in. Did the 2-day diet work for the 2 women we've been following? The weigh-in when we come back.
When you need a new prescription, most people will go to their doctor. But some people are playing doctor on their own. I'm Dr. David Marks, and I'll have this startling report coming up.
And a $93 million Powerball jackpot with just one winner. What's a Pawtucket man gonna do next? The story when 11 at 11 continues.
This is NBC 30 Connecticut News. Live, local, late breaking. Covering Hartford, New Haven, New London, and your hometown.
We continue with the diet that's had the phones ringing all week here at NBC 30. It is the 2-day diet. Lose 2 pounds in 2 days. Sarah Duva of Waterbury and Robin Pitterisi of Suffield tried it, and they liked it. Sarah lost 2 pounds, Robin 4. Now, this is not a starvation diet. It includes 3 meals and 3 snacks, but it is only for 2 days. Find out more at NBC30.com. Just click on today's hot links, then on 2-day diet.
Tonight's Consumer Alert, Nike is recalling 2 models of its Jordan Trunner cross-training shoes. The shoes have a thin metal strip on the outside of the heel. The strip can stick out and form a sharp edge that can cause cuts. The models are the LX and the 2000, sold between last May and this month. If you have a pair, bring them back for an exchange or a store credit.
Did you ever play doctor? Seems a lot of people still are, and they're getting hold of prescriptions illegally.
Health Team 30's Dr. David Marks reports on a prescription for trouble.
This medical license enables me to call prescriptions into local pharmacies. Sometimes calling them in is a lot more convenient than writing them out on my prescription pad. But this convenience can be a prescription for trouble.
The pharmacy, there's a problem about her prescription.
There's a reason why a lot of medications are only available with a doctor's prescription. Some are addictive, others have potentially serious side effects. But if you want to get a hold of these drugs, you can often do it without ever seeing a doctor. All you have to do is pick up a phone and call in a prescription for yourself. Do you know of patients who have called in prescriptions for themselves?
Yes, that happens almost routinely.
Usually it's controlled substances that people call in, stuff that medications that might be addictive to them, and they might be using for those reasons.
But not everyone who impersonates a doctor is a drug addict.
Some of the less common or less recognized perspectives on this is there are people that will take the pharmaceutical, the product that they get from the pharmacy, and sell them on the black market or sell them to other people to obtain money. And this is their livelihood.
How do people get away with it? Well, doctors are given medical license and Drug Enforcement Administration numbers that they use to identify themselves. The problem is,
some doctors have it already printed on their prescription pads. A lot of people will add them onto their pads if they're not already pre-printed anytime they write a controlled substance prescription.
Pharmacist, please.
To demonstrate how easy it is, we called in a prescription for our photographer, Terry Brennan.
Tylenol with codeine, 30 tablets. That's how easy it is to call in a prescription. The pharmacist has no idea that I'm Dr. Marks. I could be Terry Brennan for all they know. As long as I have my doctor's information, I can call it in.
And when Terry went to pick up his Tylenol with codeine, he got it. No questions asked. Russ Levine is a pharmacist in Westport. He says it's almost impossible to know if a caller is really a doctor.
You are dealing with an unknown factor because you can't see the person, you can't tell where they're calling from in most cases. You just have to use your gut feeling, you have to use your experience as a pharmacist.
Russ thinks there may need to be more safeguards against phony call-in prescriptions. But the Department of Consumer Protection's Leo Robert says that's easier said than done.
You probably could stop the problem by legislating that there would be no such thing as an oral transmission of a prescription. But would that be in the public's best interest? I think not. I think the vast majority of the people would be horribly at least inconvenienced, and health would not be served by taking away this mechanism.
Experts say handheld computer devices may be the answer to this problem. In the future, a doctor will transmit prescriptions electronically from his computer to the pharmacy. That way, a pharmacist can be sure he's giving a patient just what the doctor ordered. Dr. David Marks, Health Team 30.
Party in Pawtucket tonight. A Rhode Island man is the winner, the only winner of last night's $93.5 million Powerball jackpot. 52-year-old Michael Goulden buys $14 worth of tickets every week. Now he plans to buy a BMW and not drive it to work. He quit his job today at Key Container, where he has been employed for 24 years. He and his girlfriend are still deciding whether to go with the lump sum payment of $51 million or stretch this thing out over 25 annual payments. It's a tough decision to have to make.
One easy decision there, though.
Yeah, quit his job. Right?
See ya.
Right.
It is a good night to be all tucked in the comfort of your home.
Check out this live picture from Long Wharf in New Haven as the snow continues to fall. Brad's pinpointing the temperature there at 18 degrees right now. Pinpoint 30 weather is next. But first, a live look at tonight's secret city. Not a snowflake in sight here. Here's our hint. Would you like a beignet with your chicory coffee? The answer when we come back.
Captioning is brought.
The New Year's weekend snowstorm delivered about a foot of snow to Connecticut. The big nor'easter we had earlier this month, anywhere from 1.5 feet to 2 feet of snow, so we can easily deal with our 2 to 4 inch snowfall of tonight. Let's take a look at the guaranteed temperature prediction for today. This is a key reason to why the snowfall is 2 to 4 inches tonight. I predicted 25 today, and officially at Bradley, 22 degrees, very, very cold for this time of year. Temperatures about 15 degrees colder than normal, and it's the cold, dense air that kind of shunted this storm off the mid-Atlantic and out to sea several hundred miles to our south. We are only on the northern fringe of this storm, and we're still getting, pretty decent accumulation of 2 to 4 inches across the state. Winter weather radar shows light to moderate snow throughout the state at the current time, and the back edge of the precipitation is now moving through eastern Pennsylvania and southwestern New Jersey. I think the snow will end in western Connecticut around 2 in the morning, eastern Connecticut around 4 in the morning, though there still may be some snow showers around during your morning commute. It is just cold out there tonight with temperatures in the teens. There goes the storm, as I mentioned, off the Maryland coast, way to our south. We're on the northern fringe. Closest to the storm is coastal Connecticut. Therefore, I think coastal Connecticut is going to get the most snow tonight, from Milford to New Haven to Guilford to Old Saybrook and Groton, New London and Mystic and Stonington. 3, 4, 5 inches down here. In the Hartford area, 2 to 3 inches, and up toward the Massachusetts border, probably around 2 inches of snow. Tomorrow, partial clearing with temperatures up into the 30s. Saturday's a quiet day, sunny with temperatures between 30 and 35. And then Sunday, we get snow, we get sleet, we get freezing rain, we get rain. I'll deal with that tomorrow. Let's look at the guaranteed high for tomorrow, 35 degrees. Pinpoint 30 weather in detail for tonight. Snow, and the snow will be tapering off and ending between 2 and 4. Partly sunny, breezy tomorrow and in the mid-30s. At the shoreline tonight, heavier snow. Partly sunny, windy tomorrow, temperature in the mid-30s. There's your 5-day Wednesday. Saturday looks like a gorgeous day. Sunday, the snow, the sleet, the freezing rain, and the rain. You may want to try some Connecticut skiing tomorrow night, or Saturday. The weather's going to be perfect. 2 to 4 inches of fresh powder tonight. To the north, only about an inch or so tonight, but Friday and Saturday, the weather partly sunny, chilly, not terribly cold. Beignet. I have no idea what that, it's some kind of cookie or something?
Go with your gut.
Yeah, you were right.
I said it's French, so I deduced the French Quarter, and I deduced New Orleans.
Very good.
Very good, Bradsy. Very, very nice. The secret city is indeed New Orleans.
Wow, for not having a clue, that was pretty good.
That was good.
Deduction.
Very
Reasoning.
nice.
Thanks.
3 big deals at the NBA trading deadline. One of them brings a familiar face back to New York.
And tomorrow night, UConn honors the faces we've become accustomed to, the seniors on the women's team. Shay Ralph looks ahead to her big night when we come back.
Svetlana Brosimova's parents saved every last Russian coin so they could fly to the U.S. today. They'll be at senior night tomorrow. Well, they'll find out firsthand what their daughter means to UConn fans. Shay Ralph knows what UConn means to her. After practice today, Shay reflected on her career.
I've learned patience, I've learned how to work hard, and I've learned how to put a lot of things before myself. As far as when I was growing up, you know, I grew up in a small town, and everything was about me, because growing up nobody played basketball that much, and I did, and our town was small, and so everybody put a lot of focus on me. And when I came here, you know, it turned into something that was bigger than me.
It really doesn't get much bigger than Shay and Svet and what they've meant to the UConn program.
The experience that they've had is unlike anything I've ever been through. Not with Rebecca, not with Jen Rosati or Jamel Elliott, Nikisha Sales, nobody. Not one person has been through what these two have been through, and I've been along the ride with them, and that night it's all going to come to a head.
The UConn men's seniors will be honored before Saturday's game against Miami. College hoops tonight, Quinnipiac loses, Central blown out by St. Francis PA, and UHart postponed at Towson State because of snow. They'll play tomorrow at 1. Racing fans all over the country continue to remember Dale Earnhardt. In Charlotte today, his widow Teresa and thousands more attended a private memorial service for the racing legend.
He would want us to go on and celebrate his accomplishments and feel good about all the things that he did for NASCAR and for his community and his hometown. And I'm just proud to have had the chance to know him.
Mark Jackson returns to New York with a little sidekick. Toronto sends former Knick Mark Jackson and 5'3" Muggsy Bogues to New York for Chris Childs and a first-round pick. The Sixers and Hawks make a 6-player swap. Dikembe Mutombo heads to Philly, Theo Ratliff to Atlanta, and the Wizards send Juwan Howard to Dallas in an 8-player deal. But Howard not in uniform tonight as the Mavericks played the Celtics. Dallas didn't need him. Steve Nash to Dirk Nowitzki, that's a 3. Celtics lose 98-91. Baseball, Red Sox pitcher Pedro Martinez can't get much better, but he wanted to get stronger. So in the offseason, he says he ate rice, beans, veggies, and chicken. Sounds like a diet to me, but hey, whatever works. At Sox spring training today, Pedro shows the guys just how strong he's gotten. He appeared to be about 10 pounds heavier, they're saying. As long as he throws that fastball in the outside corner, gets people out, it's all Sox fans care about.
You gotta love him. Thank you, Kev.
Well, it didn't work out with Richard Gere.
But Cindy Crawford is happy at last with husband Randy Gerber. We'll tell you about their new co-production when we come back. Oh, look, there's a hint. Finally tonight, she's famous for being famous, and now she's famous and pregnant. Cindy Crawford and husband Randy, that's R-A-N-D-E, Gerber, are expecting their second child in September. Their son Presley is already 20 months old, and you know, Joanne, it seems like only yesterday we sent that gift certificate from Baby Gap.
That was nice. Never got the thank you card.
Well, still waiting.
That'll do it for us at 11. Thank you for joining us.
See you tomorrow.